And so we are here. The final day of Star Wars week. The Force Awakens. And this is the spoiler-free version of the review. And going up later will be a spoiler-filled version of the review. So, Episode 7, Force Awakens. I saw it on a Swedish premiere. And I saw it in 2D, not 3D. I loved it. It was glorious. It has really good pacing. The acting is phenomenal. The story is familiar, but with new ideas and twists to it all. It's very much reminiscent of A New Hope. It's very A New Hope. Which I don't think is just because it's Star Wars. I also think it's because J.J. Abrams just really likes A New Hope, because Star Trek 2009 was also very A New Hope. But yeah, it's really, really good. The characters are great. Rey and Finn are superb protagonists. Kylo Ren functions very well as a villain. The story is easy to comprehend. The effects look great, the practical and the CG effects. There's one particular CG effect that looked bad, but I guess you can't win them all. What else can I say for this non-spoiler part? The worst aspects of the film comes from an underuse of certain elements and characters. It's clear that some things were added in quite late into the script making process, and we'll probably add more to episode 8 and 9 than this one. So their setup is fine for this film, but mixed with the promotion that they've been given leading up to the film, it kind of makes it underwhelming. And yeah, it's very much like if you like me, if you grew up on the original Star Wars films as a kid, and then you saw the prequels, you will have that feeling of you will like relive the feeling of being young and seeing Star Wars for the first time again, and I think that's very, very appropriate. Appropriate because appropriate. I can't pronounce that word for some reason. Appropriate, but because actually one of the taglines for A New Hope was "It'll make you feel like a kid again." So that's yeah, it's truly a Star Wars film. But it just feels very Star Wars. It feels very, very Star Wars. It doesn't feel like someone else's take on Star Wars. It just feels... It feels like home, in a way. It's been 10 years since Revenge of the Sith, and I saw that in theaters, and I saw this in theaters, and it felt like coming home to something. To see Star Wars back again, and it really worked. Now, part of that is nostalgia, of course. And I am looking forward to seeing what my thoughts are when I rewatch the film. Which I'll be doing next week, I think. But, yeah. I'm trying to avoid talking about the characters to avoid spoilers, but I will say some stuff based on promotional material. Like BB-8. Everyone's favorite androgynous droid is so good. BB-8 is adorable. The effect is the effect is it's wrong to call it an effect. It's a fucking practical. It rolls because it rolls. Like it's a real thing, and it looks so cool. Every scene with BB-8 is a delight. their personality in the film is actually surprisingly like enjoyable and funny, but without being too in your face. And yeah, that's it's a good film. It's a good. Everyone is. I mean, almost everyone likes the film, and it's very easy to see why. It's a really good film, and it's the kind of film that when you step out of the theater, whether or not you were right about twists or wrong about twists or everything, you kind of just feel like, damn, this trilogy is going to be exciting. And I'm not normally fond of like preparing trilogies ahead of time. Like, oh, everything's to be a trilogy, but a prequel trilogy, the original trilogy, now the new trilogy, and it's like, do we really need to make everything in a trilogy format? Like, did we have to announce 3 episodes at the same time? Why is it going to be exactly 3? Like that stuff always kind of bugged me, but fuck it, it's Star Wars. They know what they're doing. And I think that's another good thing. Like, it really feels like they know what they are doing. I feel that the production team, the writers, they know what they're doing here, and the Force Awakens really do show that, because it's a great film. It's one of the best Star Wars films. It's one of the best Star Wars films. It's probably gonna end up on my top 3 list when I rewatch it, unless it suddenly drops when I rewatch it. I don't want to place it anywhere until then. But I've heard most people who rewatch it love it even more the second time around. So there's that. And I want to point out that Daisy Ridley, who plays Rey, I am so happy that she has gotten so much good positive press and like all this from this film. And also, is it John Boyega? I think it's John. I might be wrong there. Who plays Finn? Same thing there. He's marvelous. Like, he's really good. Those two, I'm so glad that those two are the faces of the new generation of Star Wars. Because there will be people who have never watched Star Wars who will start with this one, and that's another good thing. It's perfectly fine to watch this film without having seen 1 through 6. Like, because the actual references back, because of the new characters coming in and learning things, it still works. You can still sort of get that attachment, which I don't think you'll be able to get with stuff like the Star Wars stories coming out later, like Rogue One. But that's my thoughts on The Force Awakens without spoilers, and, well, I look forward, if you want to know my thoughts more in detail, well, there's that video going up later tonight, so, bye.